Alright.
Alright.
Shalom, shalom. Israel, Shabbat, shalom. I want to open up and give all praises to Yahweh. I want to give all praises to his son, the King of Kings, Hamashiach Yahushua. Alright.
Alright. I also want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. All praises to the Father. And I want to say a shalom to all the people, all the brothers out there teaching in sincerity and in truth, making videos, trying to wake up the lost sheep in these last days. Shalom to you. And all the people holding it down, trying to do their best until Yahweh Shah comes back. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah. And I just want to give a quick prayer for you brothers to go actually keep the faith, alright? And to basically keep believing, alright? So we'll open up and get Matthew 18, verse 20. Alright, so we're going to be getting into the law, okay? We're going to be getting into keeping the law, alright? Because if you're new to this thing, this would be a great video to go get started off on, alright? So, I'll say shalom to the 12 tribes. I'll say shalom to the 144,000 men out there, okay? And all of the elders teaching this truth and all sincerity.
1820?
Yeah.
1820?
1820.
Okay, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20.
You don't have to read so loud.
Okay. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Alright, so look, we're two gathered in the name of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. So look, he's here with us. Alright, and then also if you're watching this, alright, that is 3, okay, that are gathered in his name. Alright, so let's get right into it. Give me John 14, verse 15.
John chapter 14, verse 15? Okay.
You're in Matthew.
I know.
You're in Matthew.
I know I'm in Matthew, man. I was
That's
trying
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
John, yeah.
John 14, 15.
Okay. Slide here, bear with me. John chapter 14, verse 15. Alright. John chapter 14, verse 15. If you love me, keep my commandments.
Alright, so look, if you love Yahweh, you will keep his commandments. Alright, now get me 1 John 2, 4. I'll tell you when to read.
1 John 2, 4?
Yep. So look, all of these people who claim to love God, alright, all these people have shirts that says, I love Jesus, alright, or like a heart with the name Jesus or heart God. But look, if you really love God, okay, or Jesus, okay, well, to us will be known as Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, alright, you would keep the commandments, alright? Yeah, 1 John.
What? I turned to James. I mean, I'm sorry. Is this 1 John? Yeah, 1 John. Okay.
1 John is this.
Okay,
yeah, right.
2, 4.
Yeah.
1 John 2, 4. Salakia, bear with
Wait,
me.
let me see. Start at 3.
Alright, this 1 John chapter 2, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby we know that we are in him.
Alright, so look, if you really, alright here, Salaki, let me see, hereby we know, look, you know God if you keep his commandments, alright, because he sent his word out to be spoken, okay, and we know God doesn't change. Let me find that precept. Alright, I know there's, let's see, so bear with me. Give me Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. Behold, hold 1 John. It's in the Old Testament.
Okay, Malachi.
In the end of the Old Testament.
Alright. Malachi. Where's Malachi? Dang, okay.
Malachi 3 verse 6. I can just.
Alright, I got it. I can get Malachi. Malachi chapter 3 verse 6.
Alright, because we know Yahweh doesn't change, okay? So, like, the things he said in the Old Testament, okay, it is true forever, alright? Because if it wasn't, then that means he would be a liar, okay? And if we know that Yahweh, that he's perfect, alright? So, like, every commandment that he said in the Old Testament, alright, it is still here today, okay? Except for the law of sacrifice, why? Because Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, he is that perfect lamb, alright? He's the perfect lamb without blemish, okay? And like if you read the Bible, alright, that's very clear to see. Alright.
Alright. It's the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
All right, so look, Yahweh does not change, okay? Because if he changed, okay, the Israelites would have already been destroyed, all right? Through all the captivities we've been in, okay, we would have been destroyed, okay? We went to the Egyptian captivity, all right? And then that's recorded in the book. I mean, some of it is in Genesis, basically like the end of Genesis, and then basically almost all of Exodus. Okay, we've been to the Babylonian captivity. All right, that's what Daniel was in. Okay, I mean, and then nowadays we're in this captivity. All right, and if Yahweh changed, okay, we would be dead. But guess what? He made that promise with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, so now give me 1 Kings 2 verse 3.
1 Kings 2 verse 3. 1 Kings.
Then after that, you don't have to hold First John. Then after that, give me Deuteronomy chapter 10 verse 12.
Alright. 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 3.
Uh-huh.
This is book of 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 3. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
Alright, so scratch Deuteronomy. Give me Joshua 1 verse 8, I believe. Alright, so so as you see in the book of 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 3 says read the last let me see.
Okay. First
Read the last part.
Okay,
that thou mayest
prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
Okay, so look, if you keep the law of Moses, you're going to prosper, okay? And whichever way you go, you're going to prosper, okay? Why? Because you showed that you love Yahweh, your power. All right,
you said
Joshua 1. Yeah, verse 8.
1 verse 8, all right. Joshua.
Oh, you started 7. Sorry.
Joshua 1 verse 7.
Yeah.
Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest.
Okay, so again, when you keep the law, all right, you're going to prosper. Okay?
Okay, and it also says to observe to do all the law. Alright, so you can't be out here half-step and say, you say that you're wearing fringes, but you're eating pork, or the other way around, that you're not eating pork, but you're not wearing fringes. It's just to do all the laws. All right, so you can't be kind of half-stepping, keep this law, maybe not keep that law. Like on the Sabbath day, like today, you may be doing something like you may play a video game. You may not be doing any work or anything, but I want to point out on this verse because it said to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. And then the Most High says, turn not from it. All right. So you gotta keep the law that's written in this book. All right. I just kind of wanted to say that.
Okay. That's a nice add-on. Now give me Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13. And I have some precepts on my phone, so that's why I'm on my phone. If anybody's asking. Okay. So as you can see, look, if you do the law, you're gonna prosper. All right.
You said Ecclesiastes what?
12 verse 13. All right. So look, if you do the law, you're gonna prosper. All right. Now we're gonna get on to
13?
Yep.
All right. You want to read now? All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Okay. Yep. So here. All right. Let's see. Okay. I believe that's the last. No, socket. That is one of the last. You can just Salaki. This is one of the last verses in the entire book. Okay, so basically, King Solomon, who wrote the book, okay, he is known as the wisest man ever. Okay, and then he's saying, let us hear the whole conclusion. All right, so like everything that he's had in his life. All right, All right, he is basically saying, all right, through everything that I've been speaking about in Songs of Solomon, Proverbs, all right, this book, okay, all right, let's see what is the conclusion, all right, what is the end statement, all right, like, what is the conclusion, okay, because you know that, like, when you write a paper, all right, the conclusion is supposed to be strong, all right, and it is supposed to end off on, like, a good note, all right, and basically, it is supposed to go be kind of like a summary of your paper, okay? To go remind the readers what they should learn from the paper, all right, things like that. So look, this is what King Solomon's doing, all right? So like, let's see what is the so-called synopsis of life, basically.
All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13.
Yeah.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Okay.
Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of a man.
Okay.
Of man.
Yep. So look, fear Yahweh and keep His commandments. All right. Look, those are two things. Those are the whole duty of man. All right. That's why man was. That's why man was created. All right. To fear Yahweh and to keep the commandments. All right.
All right.
So look, that's the whole duty. Okay. People ask, what is the meaning of life? All right. Look, it tells you right here in the Bible what is the meaning of life. All right. Let's see. Now we're going to get into the New Testament. Okay, for those who still do not see, okay, give me James chapter 1 verse 22.
James chapter 1 verse 22?
Yep, because as he was going into earlier, all right, some people are they read the law, okay, and look, they see that you have to wear fringes, okay, but they're tearing, all right, they're taking their time, all right, they're saying, well, then they're saying like, I mean, I don't know where to get fringes. I mean, look, you know where to get the food from, right? I mean, you know where to go pay your bills, so your phone don't turn off. Socket. I mean, come on. These are the commandments, all right? Or basically, yeah.
All right, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to add on that. Man, you can order them online, man. You can get them delivered to your house. Even if there's nowhere like close to you, like an embroidery store. You can even go like to on the internet. You can go to your library, local library, or if you don't have a library, you can go to like a computer store. If you don't own any devices like a phone or anything, go on Amazon. You can literally put in your stuff, and you can have fringes shipped to you.
Oh yeah.
Or even more, you can even buy fringes. There are Hebrew Israelite websites where they have shirts with fringes already sewed on there.
Exactly.
So you can also be helping another Israelite family as well, and getting the shirts and the fringes from them directly, if you want.
And then, I mean, because in the words of the great boxer Deontay Wilder, you have Google that shit. Google that shit. Okay, look. When you're hungry, okay, you go Google to see where's the nearest food place, all right? So, look, fringes, they're not hard to find nowadays, all right? Again, as he said, all right, you have people that sell shirts with just like with things are already attached. Okay, so people read the law, but they don't really keep it. All right, people read Leviticus 11, all right, but they don't keep it. Okay, I mean, look. So look, this is the verse that is going into that. This verse is confounding them in the New Testament. All right, because that's something. Okay, because in the Bible there's no such thing as like an Old Testament and a New Testament. All right? This is all one collective book. Okay, it reads all the way through. Okay. All right, God never said, all right, this is the Old Testament and this is the New. God never said that. All right, that is man-made. Okay, so I don't like it when people say, all right, well, that's the Old Testament. All right, so basically they're almost disqualifying that because it came after. I mean, Salaka, because it came before Yahweh Shai. All right. So
and I also want to add on that the only reason that they divided them up, because there's actually a middle part called the Apocrypha. If for those of you who may not know. This is a 1611 King James.
No, that's not the 1611.
Alright, that's not 1611. Slovakia. But you can get a 1611 with the Apocrypha in there, and what that is just Esau cut out the books of the Bible. Alright, so in the Old Testament and New Testament, this Bible is one book. The stuff in the middle is actually called the Apocrypha, and that's the thing that kind of links it up together. Mm-hmm. So we have to go on what my brother said. There's no like Old Testament, New Testament. There's the Apocrypha in the middle of it, and it's all one book. All right, I want to point that out.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Well, yeah. because in the 1611 is just the Apocrypha is in the middle, but in some older Bibles, all right, they had it in like a fit timeline, okay, which fits more correctly to the things that were happening, all right. Because you have some of the books in the Apocrypha, like the Book of Baruch, okay, that was written by some people argue if it was Jeremiah or if it was Jeremiah's scribe, okay, whose name was Baruch, okay. That goes with the book of Jeremiah, all right. That doesn't go near Matthew, okay. While you have First and Second Maccabees, okay, that goes near the book of Matthew, all right. But the book of Baruch, for example, all right, that goes near Jeremiah, which is in the so-called Old Testament, okay. But see, look, you have people reading the law and look, and they're not doing it, so bring up the verse.
All right. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
All right, so look, man. You have to be, all right, give me Romans chapter 2, verse 12. All right, you have to be doers of the word. You have to be doers of the law. Romans 2, verse 12.
Romans 2, verse 12?
Uh-huh. So look, you can't just be sitting there, okay, watching videos all day, all right, while they're getting on brothers for breaking the Sabbath, okay, but then guess what? You just bought, all right, let's say some damn Jordans, okay, that were on exclusive release, okay, on Saturday, all right, so you can't be in line waiting, watching these brothers laughing because they are rebuking Jake for not keeping the Sabbath, but guess what? You're in line about to buy some Jordans, okay? You have to be a doer of the word.
All right, and I want to, back to what you said, pointing out, in James 1:22, it also says deceiving your own selves.
Yep.
Because when you do that, you know you're deceiving yourself. Sometimes you know what's right, but you don't necessarily want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of try to tune it out. Because I know I can speak for myself. I used to do stuff bad on the Sabbath. I used to play video games. And I remember that the brothers, one of the brothers, I don't know. Should we put the channel last time? I don't know. All right, so there's a channel, Adam Abbott, Watch for Israel. I watch a lot, and I saw that they did a video on how to do the Sabbath. And to be honest, on what you can and cannot do on the Sabbath. And to be honest, I was not watching that video because I knew what was right. Okay, but the truth is, I didn't want to hear it because during the Sabbath day, sometimes I'll watch like a YouTube video that's not related to the Bible, but that's just not right, man. And so I eventually, like, the most I put in my spirit, because I was deceiving myself, I literally just said, I already know what to do. I don't need to watch this video, but I didn't, and I knew that I knew that I was doing what I was doing was wrong. All right, and I was deceiving myself. So for that, I was in sin, and I repented and asked the Most High to forgive me. All right. And so now I try not to do those things to the best of my ability.
Yep. I mean, when I first came in, all right, it took me a little while to get. Do you have Romans?
I have it right.
Okay, yeah. It took me a little while to get to actually do, okay, because I knew, all right, but I didn't do. All right, I knew I wasn't supposed to eat pork, but when there was a gathering and the only meat was pork, it took me about a month. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. It took me about a month through the Spirit, okay? But now, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, now, pork, I'm basically allergic to pork. I can't be around the smell. It makes me nauseous, okay? But see, before, all right, I knew I wasn't supposed to eat pork. All right, some days I would try to not eat pork, okay? But if it was the only thing there, then I would eat it, okay, for that short month. All right, but all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, okay? Because you have to be a doer of the word, all right? Read the book. Romans
2:12. All right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 12. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law.
All right, yeah, read this part and pause.
And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law.
Okay, so then look, okay, so if you so if you didn't know that you were so if you didn't know that you weren't supposed to eat crab, all right, then basically when you come into the fold, all right, when you come into the knowledge, all right, and then that's right when you repent, all right, Yahweh will forgive you, all right. But if you know the law, okay, and then in the back of your mind, you know you're not supposed to eat that catfish, okay, but you eat it, then what? Yahweh has to judge you, lest you repent, because he can judge you anyway, okay? But if you already know it, all right, there's no reason, okay? You should be eating those off things, all right, especially on purpose, okay? So that's why it's always good to go pray over your foods, okay? Because we know that Esau, all right, we know he is crafty counsel according to Psalms chapter 83, okay? We know that they're trying to make us go off, all right? So that's why it's good to pray over your food, to pray that there's no abominable things inside the food, all right, that will make you go off. Yeah.
Okay. So back on what he said, I was thinking like when he said that sometimes you don't know what you're eating, right? And how Esau tries to hide stuff. Well, I don't know if y'all know this, but especially in a lot of candy, especially in the candy I used to eat, a lot like Starburst, anything that's gummy or chewy mostly, it has a thing called gelatin in it. And gelatin, I don't want to make y'all like nauseous or anything, but it's basically pig. They take what people don't eat of the pig, like the legs and stuff. They grind it all, and the tendons and all that stuff.
Like the bones.
Their bones, the tendons, everything. They grind it all up, right? And then they boil it, and they get everything out of it, and then they put it in these candies, man. And then they'll say gelatin on the package, but people don't know what that is. They think it's some kind of chemical, but that's literally pork. They take pork, cow, and chicken stuff like that. They boil it all down, grind it all up, and then they put it in this. That's also what they put in these frozen chicken nuggets that are in like you can look it up on YouTube. There's this white chef that this Edomite chef that made this meal, and he blended all the bones and stuff and showed the kids how to make it, and they still wanted to eat it. He showed them the pork bones and the tendons and everything, and that's what makes the stuff juicy. Like the Starburst especially. I know I used to eat a lot of Starburst. Yeah, especially because they're not that expensive either. Yeah, that's what makes them chewy. Because so next time you think about buying a candy, just look on the back. If it says gelatin on it, you cannot eat it. Gelatin. I remember I learned about that. It's in Jello and stuff like that as well. And that's just one of the crafty things that Esau's putting in our foods and you don't even know about. Because I don't know anybody that would just eat pork, chicken, tendons, and legs, and all that kind of stuff. All the muscles and stuff that nobody can eat. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it chewy. That's what makes it taste good. And then they put a buttload of sugar in there to kind of hide the taste of it.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of going back to what he said. So watch out, because they are, they're trying to keep you from going. They're trying to keep you going off so that so that you don't repent, and so that it takes longer for your house to come back, because they still want to have this dominion over the world.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And that's a part of that crafty counsel. Should we get that? Hold that and give me Psalms 83.
Psalms 83.
Yep. Because I remember I was reading a report about, I forgot where it was, but it was somewhere in the United States where the tap water, all right, it had remnants of like shrimp in the water. Okay. So they're always trying to get Jake to go off. All right, it's a crafty counsel. No, not
just
probably like the verse 5. All right, but no, just start at 1.
Just start at 1.
Yeah.
Salakia. All right. Psalms chapter 83 verse 1. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Okay, yep. Also, okay, so look, they have taken crafty counsel against our people. Why?
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Mm-hmm.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Okay, so look, so like these companies, all right, they're trying to make us go off. Okay, so like nowadays, okay, it's not as bad as it used to be. Okay, because we know that the United States government, all right, they have started to put more regulations, but it's still very, very bad, especially compared to other countries. Okay, and then basically even on a more simple level. Okay, say if you have people preparing your food. All right, what if the restaurant serves like ham? Well, what if they don't wash the plates well? Okay, and say you like you go to like IHOP and say you order like turkey sausage. All right, what if they don't wash the plates well, and then like the last person was there had ham? Okay, or what if the person have the gloves on, all right, and maybe she would touch somebody's bacon, and then she also touched your turkey, things like that, all right. I mean, that stuff is like that stuff can happen anytime, split second, all right, no matter who you are. All right, so that's why it's good to pray over your food, all right. But see, according to Psalms 83, all right, they have made a crafty counsel against us, all right, to make us not keep the commandments. All right, let me find this verse.
Oh, and going back to what my brother said, they sometimes put pork in the stuff they say that's 100% beef. And the casing, a lot of the times that makes it like have a shape, pretty much. That casing is made of pork, stuffed in a pig.
Yep. Oh yeah, because I remember me and my brother, all right, we went to the store to go buy turkey sausage to grill because they were grilling hot dogs, and basically, all right, I said turkey sausage, all right, and it said 100% turkey. So I just grabbed it. I kept going. Okay, then I went back. All right, I was in the car. I had the groceries in my hand, so I was just reading over some of the ingredient for the bag. Then it said casing. Okay, then it said the casing was made out of pork, beef, and chicken. All right, so then remember that.
And then we couldn't eat it, man, because we're not trying to eat pork. We try to avoid pork at all costs because honestly, it may be hard. Well, it's easier for us because we have a bigger say, I guess, maybe in our household because, look, all praises me and my brother are the two oldest out of all our siblings, and so we usually have a better say as to what we get, and we try to make our family go like that, but that's why it's always important. I would say, especially since it's there, I would recommend that all Israelites try to at least read the ingredients on it. And what I would say is if you're buying, especially if you're buying food and you don't know the ingredients of it, first of all, search it up. And second of all, it has a lot of chemicals and stuff in it. And it's like, if it has a lot of chemicals and stuff, especially some stuff that you don't know, I would suggest not buying it just for safety sakes. But if it's something that, like you mean like burgers, but especially stuff like candy, and you don't know exactly what's in it, a lot of energy drinks, if you don't know all the stuff that's in it, I would suggest just not buying it because, you never know. It could have pork in it, and then you see it and you don't even know. And the Most High will hold you accountable for it.
Yep. I mean, let's say repent. Okay, so that's why it's good to pray. Okay, and it's also good to repent for the sins that you don't know you committed. I'm gonna pick up a verse on that.
Especially because you may not say, "Lord, please forgive me for the pork." So what? For eating pork. So what I like to do is I say, "Forgive me for all of the sins that I have committed, once knowingly and unknowingly," and I ask that you will help me to find out what I'm doing wrong, so that I can change and serve you. But that's what I personally pray myself. So I would just recommend that all Israelites try to read the nutrition label, and all your food should come on one because it's federal law, like they have to by law. So I would suggest doing that. If you're buying for your family, if you're going grocery shopping, it's just like a little tip. That's what I started to do. Especially because, and then you'll see how much sugar stuff has and how much stuff is bad for you, and then you'll be like, I never knew that. Because, say like you get some candy, right? You get like a pack of Skittles, and that thing will have like 400 to 500 calories, and it'll have like 80 grams of sugar in it. And then you'll be like, what? Like, they're like little tiny balls of sugar, man. So it's just kind of like, I like to look at the nutrition labels and make sure that I'm getting what I getting stuff that I can eat as an Israelite man.
Give me scratch Psalms. Give me Deuteronomy 28:60. I mean 48. Sorry. Yeah.
28, 48.
Yeah, 48.
28 and 48. All right, I got it. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Okay, so look, it's a part of the curses. Why? Because we did not keep the commandments. That's why we have to keep the commandments. Is that we will have to go to our enemies for our food. Okay, and as we read in Psalms, they have a crafty counsel against us. So why? So the name of Israel will no longer be in remembrance. Okay, so they want to destroy us completely. Okay, so look, that's why you gotta repent, pray over your food. All right. Did we read Romans?
I don't think we did. I still got it though.
Yeah, read that for me.
Well, which one?
12 and 30. Started 12. Oh, no. We read 12.
Here,
Read
so
13. Yeah, sorry.
For not the hearers of law are just before Yahweh, but the doers of the law shall be justified. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these, having not the law, are a law unto themselves.
So look, you have to be a doer of the law, okay? Give me, I think Matthew 17, 19, I believe. No, 19, 17. Sorry.
Matthew 19, 17?
Yep, so look, you have to be a doer of the law, okay? So look, let's see what Hamashiach Yahushua said. All right, what color is this in?
This is, okay.
Red?
This is red, and that
Red.
means that the Yahushua, so-called Jesus Christ, said these words himself. These came out of his mouth. Alright, so Matthew chapter 19, verse 17. He said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Yahweh. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments.
So look, what is that life? That's the kingdom. So if you want to get the kingdom, you have to keep the commandments, okay? That is 100%. All right, you have to have faith, and you have to keep the commandments. All right, let me pull out, sorry, here. I believe it's in another Romans 3, verse 31. And 3:31. That's one of my favorite verses. Okay, Matthew 19:17, and then Romans 3, verse 31. Those are two in the New Testament. All right, because a lot of times if you tell people to keep the commandments and it's in the Old Testament, they're not going to believe. So here are two scriptures. All right, especially Matthew 19, verse 17, because here's Hamashiach Yahushua saying you have to keep the commandments. All right, now read Romans 3:31.
All right, Romans 3:31. Do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid. Yea, we establish the law.
So look.
And this is
go.
Okay. And this is Paul talking to the people in Rome. All right. He said.
Wait, stop. Not the people in Rome, but the church.
Oh yeah, church,
the Israelite church in Rome.
Right. It said that yea, we established the law. So Paul was telling the church to keep the law. All right.
Yeah.
Even in the Old Testament.
Yeah. So look, basically, when you read the book of Romans, all right, you will understand that the Romans they kept the law. So that's why Paul was getting on them more for faith. All right, but here, okay, that's why. Let me pull this up. Where it says Paul's writings are hard to understand. Okay, because if you have Christians, or you have Christians saying, well, Paul kind of confounds himself, he kind of contradicts. No. It's just that you don't understand.
Because the Bible is written in dark sayings. All right. Well, it's not made for everybody to understand.
And especially when you deal with these epistles, all right, these are letters to certain people. All right, so say if there's 5 brothers in the truth, okay, and say I have to admonish them. All right, I'm going to admonish them differently, or let's say I have to rebuke them. Okay, not every brother has the same problem. Okay, one brother he may be dealing with lust. Okay, one brother he may be dealing with laziness. Okay, so look, I'm not gonna bring out the same scriptures to basically these two brothers that are like going through two different things. All right, but guess what? I'm still trying to rebuke them. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still trying to teach them. All right, but guess what? I'm bringing two different scriptures. I'm bringing two different sides. Or give me 2 Peter. Hold that. Give me 2 Peter 3 verse 16.
2 Peter 3 verse 16.
Okay, so when you read the epistles, you really have to be in the spirit, all right?
3:13 or 15?
Let me see, so here. 3:16.
Okay, 3:16. All right, this is the book of 2 Peter 3:16. As also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction.
So look, this is a verse that goes confound Christians, man. When they are saying read Ephesians, like I've been watching videos, okay, where people just say read Ephesians, okay, read Romans. Why? Because look, you got to keep it in context, all right? They'll read that book, okay, but they haven't read they haven't read any books in the Old Testament, all right? They'll just read Romans or maybe Ephesians, okay, and they don't know what else is happening. Okay, so they're going to take that Ephesians as the only thing that the Bible talks about, all right? Or basically take that for Romans about how it talks a lot about faith, That's the only thing it talks about. No, but when he's talking to other people, say in the book of Corinthians, all right, Paul, there the women like to teach a lot. All right, so that's why you have 1 Corinthians 11. Okay, because there he's basically saying the head of the woman is the man. So why didn't he say that in Romans? Oh shit!
Let me start with
I have to get this.
Alright, Salakia, we had a low battery thing.
We're almost finished.
Alright.
Alright, Salakia, Israel.
Alright.
So look, Paul's writings is hard to understand. Alright, and read the end of the verse again, how people lean on it.
Which they that are unlearned and unstable rest.
Okay, stop right there. So look, those people that are unlearned and unstable, look, that's all they know is Ephesians or 1st and 2nd Corinthians. Alright.
And they think they know everything, man.
Yep.
They think, they don't
I'm
know
a
the law.
biblical scholar.
And we read it in, what is it, Matthew?
Where?
Matthew chapter 19, verse 17, I think it was. And it said that if you want into eternal life, you have to keep the commandments.
Exactly.
These people don't know their commandments. So how are they going to get into eternal life?
That's a good question. So look, that's why I advise every brother to at least read the law, okay? And right now I'm working on reading the entire Bible. Alright, and I advise through the Spirit other brothers to go work to that same goal. Alright, yeah, so look, that's their rest, okay? Is 1st and 2nd Timothy. Okay?
I mean,
Look, they haven't read anything else but Ephesians, okay? And look, every time they talk about the Bible, every time they even think about the Bible, first thing that comes to their mind is the book of Ephesians. Alright? Alright, read that.
alright,
Read the rest of
17?
it. Yeah. No. Just read the rest of it where they rest.
Okay. As they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction.
So look, them end up being destroyed, alright? Because how are you arguing with somebody, alright, when you've only read Romans? Okay, every argument you have is from Romans. Alright? You've only read Romans, you haven't read anything else, okay? This is a feast, okay? As it says in Psalms 23, alright? Alright? This is a table prepared in the place of our enemies, alright? And I'm paraphrasing that. Alright, you had this whole table laid out, alright? But guess what? You only eating the cake, okay? Come on, man. Alright, you haven't gotten into any meat. You haven't gotten into any milk. Okay, you haven't gotten into any honey, alright? You haven't tasted anything bitter. You're only tasting those sweet things, okay? That cake, which I'm classifying now as the epistle Salakia. Why? Because he's targeting certain people, and certain people take that as what the whole Bible represents. Alright, so read 3:31 again. No, from the book of Romans.
Okay.
Read the verse again.
3:31.
Mm-hmm.
Do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid. Yea, we establish the law.
So look, we established the law through faith. Okay, so we know that you have to keep faith. Alright, but we established the law through faith. Alright, last verse, Romans 20. Revelations 22:12.
Revelation 22.
This is the last verse. This is in the last book of the Bible now. Alright, this is when it talks about This is when it talks about the destruction. Okay, and it's the last chapter of the Bible.
Alright, and I just wanted to point out before I read that this isn't red, so Yahweh Shai is speaking this.
14.
Right. Oh, 14?
Yeah.
I just said 12. Alright, never mind. Salakia, then. This is Revelation chapter 22, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Alright, so let's see so blessed are those that keep, so you have to keep the commandments, man. Alright, so let's see the gate it's talking about for those who don't know. Read 21:12 right there.
21:12, alright. Revelations 21:12, Salakia. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
So look, that's the gate, okay? Now, if you read only Ephesians, you can get that gate's for everybody. But if you read from Genesis to Revelations, or you won't really understand through the Spirit, okay? So as you see, it's 12 gates after the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? There's no 13th gate for all of the Edomites. Okay? There's no 13th gate. All right, it's only 12 gates for the 12 tribes of Israel. So that cuts you GOCC members, okay, that believe that anybody can be saved if they repent. That's false.
Going into what he said, if you never read Genesis, how you gonna know? Like, if you never read, you can't know the law unless you read the law.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like you don't just know everything. That's just not stuff works. You gotta read it, kind of figure it out. All right, so back going again what he said, what my brother said, I would suggest reading the Torah. Reading the laws, and that's something I need to do. Honestly, I'm getting on kind of myself here as well, but I need to start reading the Torah, especially because I've been kind of reading around a little bit. So I get on myself a little bit. I need to read on this Torah because how are you gonna keep the commandments if you don't know the commandments? How are you gonna make an A on it? That's like saying how you gonna make an A on a test, but you don't study any of the material. You can't expect to make an A. I mean, that's just like a real world experience. I mean.
Yep.
So going back into that, if you don't know what something is, first of all, I would suggest reading the Bible. And if you really still can't figure it out, ask your brother from a camp that you watch. If you don't watch any camps, I would suggest Adam Abbott or Watchmen for Israel. That's the camp I watch personally. And Sakari. Sakari as well.
Etowa,
mm-hmm.
Okay. You can even ask IUIC, okay? I mean, but look. As long as they bring... Alright, so first, if you ask a brother a question, you gotta pray for discernment from Yahweh,
mm-hmm.
why Yahweh Shai. Because that's more important than actually asking the brother.
Yeah.
Alright, because men can lie to you. Okay?
That's true, yeah.
But you want to ask for that discernment, but see, okay, to go have the eyes to see if this brother is actually telling the truth, okay, and if he has the right scriptures, okay, to actually go bring it out and for it to be real.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yep. So look, read verse 14. No, 22, 14 again. I'm about to end off.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Yep. So look, you're blessed when you do the commandments, as it says in the book of Joshua. All right. It says in 1 Kings 2:3, Joshua 1:8, which we also brought out earlier. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say. La alanawa Yahweh b'Hashem Yahushai, la alanawa kaya Hashem katakabad. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, Shabbat Shalom, Israel.
Shabbat Shalom. I hope somebody was edified through this.
Yeah.
To keep the commandments, that was the main point of this. Or to try to make sure that Israel knows that we gotta keep the commandments in these last days, because these are the last days, and Yahweh Shai is coming. And we read before, that's your duty as a man and a woman. You're supposed to just keep the commandments to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Socket. I was just not thinking about this verse, but this verse works as well. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with with flames of fire. Salakia. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh Shai shall be many. So look, hey, these are the times that's coming, man. If you don't repent and keep the law, alright, you're going to get hit with a missile. Alright? So let me just put it straight like that, okay? If you don't repent, you don't keep the law, you're going to get hit with a missile. Alright? Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai.
Shalom, Israel.
Shabbat Shalom.